Okay, in this video, we're going to be making an iron farm, and the first thing I had to do was clear out this area. And you can follow along to our design if you want to, because this farm is very efficient. And we just cleared out the area, just out of all trees, for all of everything, just so we wouldn't have to deal with all that in our way when we were building. Or we just cleared it out because we liked it, okay? And then we broke down the trees in the area with my fancy efficiency something axe. I don't really know what efficiency my axe had, but it was really fast, so that helped. Then I made like a birch tower that you saw earlier, which I made like at the start of the video. But we had to take that down because, I mean, why would you want a birch tower? We just wanted it to mark from where we were. And this is where the farm starts. I went up 20 blocks, placed a glass block, and then I placed a second glass block on top of that. And I built 4 blocks, 1 block in either face of the glass. Then I broke the block in the middle with my silk touch pickaxe, and I built a little enclosure for the zombie. Now that's the first step of this thing. You want to build up 20 blocks and make a little enclosure for your zombie. And after that, I just closed it over, and I started making the spots where the villagers are going to be going. So I built out 3 blocks in either direction. Technically 4, but 3 blocks that the villager would be in. And I did that for each side. And the reason why that is because you'll see later that we're going to be putting beds and leaving the villager 1 more space. And then I built walls around that and made the whole enclosure 3 high everywhere. Now it's very important to make sure that the enclosures are 3 high because the villagers need some places to move around. And then Lambo86 was kind enough to make a little staircase up to our area where we would lead the zombie into its cage. Now the way I'm going to be trapping the zombie here, as you see, is with a trapdoor. Now the reason why I use trapdoors is because mobs actually can't see trapdoors, and they'll walk right into a hole if there's a trapdoor over it. And that's pretty useful because all I have to do is lead the zombie up the stairs and then jump over the area with the trapdoor, and the mob will fall right into it. Also, make sure to put water at the bottom of your zombie container. Now, in the night, I went around searching, and I found our zombie. He was all decked out in gold, and I led him over to the staircase. And, I mean, zombies are pretty slow, so this took longer than it should have. But luckily, zombies were slow because, I mean, if it was someone who was faster, they would probably be a lot harder to do. Anyway, I made a little area for him, well, a little hallway, and I waited for him to come up, and I ran and jumped over it. And just like I predicted, the mob fell right into the trap. And after building up a full platform so there were no, like, lumps for the top of the villager cages, we named the zombie and began working on the villager part. Now, the way we're doing the villager here is actually by a glitch in Minecraft. And now you might be asking, why are you not even using powered rails? Because you need minecarts to be moved by powered rails. And that is true. But there's a glitch that lets you have like a minecart with its own engine. And you'll see right here. And it starts with a boat. So we trapped a villager in a boat by rowing a boat to the corner. And I built a little staircase. And if you push a minecart off of that ramp, you'll see that the minecart just goes. The minecart gets its own engine-ish thing, and it just goes without any power. It probably goes faster than an actual normal minecart with powered rails, but I don't know if that's for sure. But the problem with our very first test subject was that even off rails, this machine works. And So to avoid that ever happening again, we made like a little enclosure for where the villager would come up to, and that would just prevent him from, flying off if he missed the spot that we wanted him to go. And after getting a second villager, for like a serious this time, not a test subject, I did the same trick. I pushed the minecart onto the villager in the boat, and this time it went just like the last time. Remind you that it went up, everything was fine, and it went right into its enclosure. Now, after Lambo86 broke the container and used a water bucket to get out, we went for the other one. Now see here, I row into the corner and I push a villager after breaking the beds, and I line him up with the rails, and it goes. It's perfect. I recommend this for any long distance transportation. I just didn't have enough gold to make a bunch of powered rails. I'm sure not many of you starting at like a couple, like a little while into the game do without a gold farm. And after Lambo86 broke that container, we covered it over just like the last one, and we got our villager into the boat, and we made our last contraption, and there we go. Now it's going. Now, after the villager got perfectly up into his spot, I put the stairs right back, and the door, and everything that I'd broken to do it in the first place, and everything was back to normal, except that we had 3 villagers in our container. Well, in our, I guess you could call it a container, in our spot. Now, the next part of the iron farm is actually the spot where the iron golem's going to spawn. And to do that, we built out a large platform where the iron golem would spawn, 1 2 high, and the second level was 1 high. Now, you'll see in a minute, I'll be able to post the dimensions for the iron farm down below for this platform, because I don't exactly remember. It's pretty hard stuff. It's pretty confusing. But the non-confusing part is you have to put water screens in, and you put walls outside of the border so the iron golem doesn't get stuck on it, just to guide him into a spot. And we built our small platform 5 blocks wide and just as long as the farm. And we placed water in the corner, and the top part was basically good to go, except for we had to add fences. Now, make sure to add fences if you're making this for yourself 1 block outside of the area. And with this, we just made a larger containment area. Some YouTubers have made farms very similar to this, but we just made the overall farm on a larger scale in some spots, and we thought that would, make more iron golems spawn more frequently. But it works. But for some reason, our villagers seem glitched or something, because they don't get afraid when the zombie is there. But anyway, back to this. You haven't even seen the farm work yet. It works. And so the next part on this, we put out some hoppers, and I got a lava bucket after breaking some obsidian instead of going into the nether like a smart person would do. And we broke the back wall just so and we filled it in with glass because everything looks good as glass. Then we placed in a ton of signs, and this was just going to keep the lava from, spreading down and burning all of our stuff. And after we made those signs, we placed water down below where the iron would just filter into it. And this is another trick to help your farm work way better. I suggest this for every farm, but we made another little area to catch another zombie, and this zombie would just be to lure the iron golem into the lava, because it'll probably work, but it'll be much slower. Now, the way you can make an iron golem without name tagging it to not despawn is by making it hold an item. Now, after Lambo86 had let it up there, and we'd figured out that he could hold an item, he was holding a torch, we decided that we just open it up at the front and leave it as is, because it was fine. And now the farm was ready for our first use. After we placed, so it actually happened that we had to place in 3 lava sources, but this farm works. It may not be the most efficient design because of our villages or something. You guys don't even see that right now, but it works. Now, after placing in those 3 lava sources, I realized that it was kind of inefficient because the iron golem would be pushed by the current. So I just made a little spot and I flipped the lava source around so the iron golem would be pushed into the larger part of the lava. And after AFKing for a little bit, like about overnight, we had that much iron. Now, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. This video was super necessary when I always recommend you getting an iron farm in your world. Wait, what the?